Today's devotions are from John 18. I'm reading portions of verses 3 through 11. So Judas, having procured a band of soldiers and some officers from the chief priests and the Pharisees, went there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Then Jesus came forward and said to them, "Whom do you seek?" They answered him, "Jesus of Nazareth." He said to them, "I am he." Judas, who betrayed him, was standing with them. He asked them again, "Whom do you seek?" And they said, "Jesus of Nazareth." Jesus said, "I told you that I am he. So if you seek me, let these men go." Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's servant and cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. So Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword into its sheath. Shall I not drink the cup that the Father has given me?" Now, most of us know this story rather well, and some of us may have remembered the name of the high priest's servant was Malchus. This guy was in the wrong place at the wrong time, we might be tempted to think. But remember, he came with the betrayer Judas and with those who had come with weapons. So he's no simple, innocent bystander. Now, whether or not Malchus had a weapon, we're not told. But he was with those who did have weapons. And Peter decides to protect Jesus and begins to do so by pulling his sword. And the first guy he comes to is Malchus and cuts off his ear. Now, either Peter was too scared to be accurate with his sword or just not used to close combat. But whatever the case, Peter only causes relatively superficial and not lethal damage. And if you look in the other accounts of Jesus' arrest, after Peter cuts off Malchus's ear, Jesus heals Malchus. This stuck out to me in reading this story today because, one, it shows Peter, again, trying to do with human strength and wisdom what only Jesus has the godly power and mandate to do: save sinners. Peter apparently thinks that by protecting Jesus, Peter can keep Jesus alive so that he can bring about the restoration of the Hebrew nation, and this in turn would be God's blessing to the world. And like before, when Peter tried to dissuade Jesus from going to Jerusalem after coming down from the Mount of Transfiguration, Jesus corrected Peter when he said that he was to drink the cup that his Father had given him to drink, that being the cup of death, so that he might swallow up death forever, and in this way, so save all people according to God's will. But it also struck me that Jesus heals Malchus, as Malchus was coming to arrest Jesus. Jesus will have nothing stand between him and the cup of death in its fullness, not even the shedding of the blood of his enemies. God's profound goodness and mercy is seen in Jesus' compassion on his enemies. In fact, that is precisely why Jesus comes to the cross, to bear on his body the wounds required of sinful man, required of you and I. We see a microcosm in Malchus of what Jesus does for us all. All of us are wounded. In fact, all of us are dead in our sins, and it's only Jesus who touches and heals and restores us. I like to think that Malchus is among the restored saints of heaven, who will greet us when Jesus comes again in power to take us home with him there. God's peace be with you. Goodbye.